we have to become the best versions of ourselves. And I feel like if we put the same amount of emphasis on trying to find the best person for us, if we put that much emphasis on being the best person for someone else, you have what you want.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, honestly, like, if we put as much emphasis as we did on, like, finding this person as we did on being the person, come on, man. Stop.
Because honestly, like, somebody looking for you too. Like,
all I want is you, baby. All I want, all I want, all I want is you, baby. More than I need, what you want, girl, it's yours. Give me your feelings, I just can't ignore. 'Cause all I want is you, baby. Give me your time, all your love, I've been patient.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Russell the Fourth.
hey everybody, it's me, Brandi.
And it is Tuesday, which could only mean one thing. It means it is another episode of the What They Never Told Us podcast. What's up?
We back.
We back, man. Back in the building. Ooh, a little fade on the hand clap because I know it's too long for you, right?
It is.
Come on. Look at me taking notes. We're back. It is Tuesday. What's the date this airs? Do you know? You can't think off the top of your head?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not even going to try.
It's Tuesday.
It's
That's all that matters.
Tuesday, which means it's time for another episode. Once again, we're excited to be back. Something that's been resonating with me. Okay, you said something the other day.
Okay.
It's sitting with me. I
Right.
want to address it with you in front of our family right now.
That's fine with me.
Okay, so our lives are
Be about it.
so our lives are starting to meld together.
Yes.
Right. We're spending a lot of time together.
Yes.
More time together than apart.
Yes.
Okay. Came over here the other day. Took a shower. I was in a rush. Had to go somewhere. Took a shower. I was in such a rush
Oh, that's what you're doing?
that in normal fashion, I left my drawers behind the bathroom door.
Yeah.
I don't remember what we were talking about, but you inferred that the sight of my drawers
You asked me
behind
if-
your door.
You asked me if it had hit me yet that we were about to get married.
Uh-huh.
And how was I feeling? And I said, it hit me when I sat down to go to the bathroom and I closed the door and therein lied your drawers.
Yep.
Yeah.
You almost inferred as if you were like second guessing
Not second guessing, but like
the reality seeing a man's drawers.
I forgot they do that.
You know what? First of all, it happens. Okay, it's not a consistent habit, but in a hurry, it's bound to happen. This is the thought that I had. What are habitation habits
Yes.
of mine that drive you crazy?
Well, I mean, I don't know if I have a full grasp of all the habitation.
What are things that you know? Let's start with the things that
So-
you notice today. Are things that are going to drive you crazy tomorrow.
Well, it's definitely the drawers behind, leaving your drawers behind. It doesn't matter how many times it happens. It happens. I don't want to see your big man drawers behind the door when I close the door.
Okay. All right.
Excuse me. I'm trying to think.
Ooh,
wait.
come
No. There are some.
I
Don't
thought
do
I got
that.
off easy.
Don't do that.
Ooh, come on.
Oh my goodness. Not changing the toilet paper roll is huge for me. And like what you will do is leave the empty roll on the hook
Set the new one
and
on the
set
sink.
the new one on the sink. Like, and my toilet paper roll, just so y'all know, I'm gonna clue y'all in, is not one of the ones that you gotta like try to squeeze it and
It's
pop
so
it in the
easy.
right spot. It's literally just a hook. You just slide it off.
It's really easy.
Slide it off and go. So that's one. We had a long discussion about putting the toilet seat down.
I won't give in. It's Women's Day. The day we're recording is Women's Day, so I'm not gonna fight this fight today in honor of the women here.
Okay.
But we'll come back to that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna die on that hill.
I think that's about it. That's all I really noticed right now is
Okay.
just like just the little things that I'm like it doesn't even make sense. Like, why are you doing this? So that's it. That's it. What about you?
It's your kitchen drawers.
Yeah, they are a mess.
The other day I was busting suds. There's no organization, and I'm not even organized, but the things that go together in the drawer for you don't make sense to me, and I can't. I think about it for a great deal during the day.
So let's be honest. There are really only 2 usable drawers in my kitchen.
No, that's not true.
Yes.
Listen,
yes. The other ones are junk drawers.
How can everything be a junk drawer? So listen, so the other day I'm doing the dishes, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm putting up the dishes that are dried. I go into a drawer and there's flour, sugar, and Tupperware.
That's a cabinet. That's not a drawer.
Okay, cabinet. Whatever it is, that don't make sense. They shouldn't go together. Okay, in another cabinet drawer, whatever it is, there is maple syrup, a toaster, and cake pans.
There are no cake pans in that drawer.
What's in that drawer?
That's my small electronic kitchen doodad.
How did maple syrup make the cut?
Well, there's also canned goods down there because I don't have a lot of cupboard space.
It drives me crazy.
Can you say this though? It's not a me issue. It's the space issue. Like
it's a collection. I'm not gonna shoot you that much bail. Okay. Yes, you could benefit from more cabinets.
Yes.
But the ones that you do have, and you know what? Let me do this because I don't know how I would restructure if I
exactly.
If you told me that, okay, go in, just do your thing. I don't know how I would. But I do know there's certain things that I would just put together. Like the sugar and the flour would be in the same thing as the maple syrup and the canned goods.
Okay.
Because they just seem like they're both in the food category, right? The cabinet with the
we are spending way too much time.
You're right. I'm gonna let it go. But it's been in my spirit, and I want you to know it's the kitchen drawer. When we get the new spot, you know, well, I guess I'll just reserve my judgments.
That's why I told you need to build me a house so that I have the cupboard space and the cabinet space that I need to adequately fit the stuff that I have.
So it's not an organizational thing. It's just you need more space because you got a lot of stuff.
I mean, what you said about the flour and the sugar and the maple syrup, that makes sense. But then that would be the only thing in that drawer.
Okay.
Or cabinet, whatever.
Right, this little thing. This might be OCD, but maybe I'm not the only one. In the knife, spoon, butter knife, big spoons go together in one thing, and the little spoons go together.
No,
it'd be a little spoon on top of a big spoon, and they don't even fall because you don't supposed to be a nice little fall. They like the same shape, so they fall together.
You didn't even have no silverware at your house, so you can't.
That's not true. That is a lie.
That's true. You had all plastic.
I kept them in the dishwasher because I never unloaded it. And when they were dirty, I put them back in the dishwasher, washed it, and that's where they were at.
I got one spoon around here somewhere. I'd be like.
First of all, I lived on plastic, so even though I had them, it was plastic forks, paper plates. We're doing the dishes.
This was a terrible intro.
It was a great intro conversation. Our viewers said they like our personal stuff.
Yeah, but that's like...
It's better than push the button.
Last time you ate them. You wanted to use this opportunity to nitpick me. Is that what you was trying to do?
I thought I'd bring in some personal stuff. I was curious to know what are the things I do that drive you crazy. And you didn't have anything for me, you know, except for my drawers. And I don't know what to do about that.
What you mean? Pick them up.
I don't know if I could do that. There's something in men, like ingrained in our DNA.
No, my daughter uses this bathroom. Like, I don't want her to walk in there and see your underwear balled up behind.
I gotta see hers though.
Yes, she's 4.
I just feel like
she's 4.
Why she get to leave her drawers around?
She'd been pick them up and put them around her head or something. Like, you know her. Look, mommy. I got a helmet. It's a cape.
Look,
like, no, we're not doing that.
Well, these are the things that we're settling into the reality of us living together, right? You know, like I'm pretty sure there's some preferences we have, you know what I mean, for what we would like our living situation to be. But the reality is, you know, it's gonna be different. You know what I mean?
Trying your darndest to say.
Oh, I'm smoking this.
So obvious.
How they don't know what we're talking about. I want it to be obvious to you. I'm like, yeah, you see what I'm doing here. For those of you guys who have no idea what I'm talking about, I was smoking this segue into our subject for today because what we're talking about is preferences versus reality, right?
Yeah. So this came up based off of a Facebook conversation that I was having with someone who said that they had a list of preferences that they wanted in a partner and that they did not feel like they should settle. And we weren't privy to the list, but as a person who had a list themselves, did you just own me?
Something's in my throat. I just took a sip of my drink.
Anyways, as a person who had a list themselves, like I was trying to kind of offer a different opinion as to, you know, when we list out every single thing that we want in a partner, it can become restrictive. And then when someone who is really good or complimentary to us comes, we're so focused on the list that we miss the opportunity to be with a really great person. And or our list is based off all the things that we need in a broken state. So like all these things that I'm saying I want but don't serve me at all, but because I'm broken and damaged or unhealed or whatever, maybe just stupid, because some people just make stupid decisions.
Okay.
I've done that. So I'm not pointing fingers.
Okay.
But you know what I'm saying? You think you want these things, and then when you get them, it turns out it's not anything that serves you.
See, this subject is near and dear to your heart because as I recall how we started off the season with one of our most fire quotes, I think, ever on the podcast. One that particularly stuck with me, stuck to my ribs. I don't want to quote you correctly, so if I quoted you wrong, please correct me, but I'm pretty sure it's burned in my brain.
Okay.
I believe what you said was, if Brandi at 30 had to paint a picture of the perfect man for her, I mean, her dream guy, I'm paraphrasing, dream guy, I mean, I'm going to be honest, it don't look like you. I believe it was somewhere in the vicinity of that, right?
It's pretty accurate.
So let me ask you this.
Yes.
Only on your wildest dreams, nothing of now this newfound love and appreciation you have for all of the things that are Russell.
Yes.
Purely on 30-year-old Brandi's dreams. What does he look like?
First of all, can you handle that?
Huh?
Can you handle that?
You finna marry me out. Like at this point, you stuck.
I don't know, but I'm saying it might be like an ego thing.
Are you gonna say he's got long flowing
I
hair?
don't know. I don't say. I know what I'm gonna say.
Long
but
flowing hair.
I know.
Hispanic six pack.
What?
You definitely look like.
First of all,
definitely look like. I can see
no,
you. With
I'm asking you. You know, because sometimes men be asking questions that y'all really can't handle the answer to, and then every time you see somebody, we go somewhere and when you see somebody that meet that description, oh, you like niggas like that, huh?
Hey. Purpose over personal. Look here. We podding today. I'm ready for it.
Oh,
Hold
that's
on.
your type.
Let me put up
You talk about one like this.
Hey, so look though. I'm probably gonna bring it up again, but it's all good. Like, you married me. We good. Tell me, what does he look like?
So I think my best way to describe
Change my mind.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm joking. Now playing. Come on.
The best way to describe it is like using other people, right?
Wait.
Not people we know.
I'm about to say, I'm gonna be looking at bro completely different. You know Eric from the supermarket, like, you know how his chest is? I'm gonna punch him dead in his chest. I'm gonna blow his chest out. How about that?
No. So
all right, I'm sorry.
It's not that. So I think looks wise, like my type. This was a terrible idea. My type is like a Trey Songz. Like, but I also like a Justin Timberlake, if that makes sense.
Pretty boys.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Low. I feel weird doing this, first of all.
Nah, come on, we here now. We podding today.
Definitely like brown skin. This is just looks, right?
Yep.
Just brown skin, tall. Not really muscular, because I think you've changed my mind, but we talking about Brandi over 30. Might be slim.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Tall, slim, athletic, no facial hair.
Everything opposite. All right, keep going.
This is young Brandi.
Keep going. Yeah.
He a little street. He a little thuggish. You know what I'm saying? I would. I think by 30, I wanted him to have a job.
But he's
that
street, but
minded at 30.
He's been more refined. Like
Yeah.
he's been pulled out of streetways.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm with you.
But like, if he'd been to jail once or twice, like,
It's all right with you.
she like that. He's aggressive, but like in a gentle way. Like,
Oh, that's kind of me. I tap into that.
a little bit.
Yeah,
a little bit,
okay.
Yeah.
All right,
But
for
we're
sure.
not asking you to compare it.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm too late. I'm here. Go ahead, continue.
Back off.
Aggressive, legit. Okay.
Yeah, he got a lot of swag, like, you know what I'm saying? He's like well known,
Mm-hmm.
but in the like personality department or like just qualities, I would always have chose somebody that's like that pampers me, somebody
Okay.
that wants to provide for me and take care of me,
Mm-hmm.
somebody that's like a real like man's man. Like, nah, dog, we not having that. Why you look at her like that? Just like that's gonna come and step to anybody that try to like disrespect me.
Yeah.
Like that kind.
All right. Is he kind of a jerk? Because he kind of got like a.
I wouldn't say he's a jerk. Nah, he not a jerk.
Okay.
He not a jerk.
Not to you, but just kind of like, you know.
No, I don't think so.
Oh,
I don't think
okay.
he's like egotistical.
I heard
don't
you
think at all.
describe that in one time you talking about. You said you there's a quality you like about guys, and I don't know if it was cocky was the word.
Yeah, I do like cocky guys, but that doesn't mean that they're jerks.
Whew.
Does
All right.
Does that feel okay to you?
Yeah.
Oh, I definitely he some money.
Uh-huh.
No kids. These are things at 30 that I was like, I got kids, but like you can't have no kids.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, that's about it.
All right. Thank you for tuning in to another episode with Never Told Us. Make sure you fill us up.
However, I'm going to say this.
Mm-hmm.
I've dated that guy
Yeah.
at least 6 times.
What's his name and social security number?
First of all, it's multiple guys, but I'm saying just
I'ma
that
find
guy. Like I've dated him. I've had encounters with them, and it's never worked out because it's just not what I need. Like I really felt like we talked about this before, but back in high school, like we felt really opposite. Like kind of like that good guy, girl from the wrong side of the tracks type of thing.
It's still kind of there a little bit. Right? Not girlfriend Russell. That's how I describe it.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely more like, you're more edgy for sure. I think my brand is more like, hey guys. You're more like,
brand.
don't talk to me. Like brand is strong, but I mean, just like when people's idea of me, you know,
So weird. Okay, yeah, sure.
I
I mean, I do. People think you see like as a friendly people person, and I'm probably not that.
that's
you know?
all I'm saying.
Well, I don't know. Because when I tell people like I'm not really a people person, they be like, really?
That's the people that you already interact with. We talking about the people who just stand in the room with you, like, you know,
She not friendly.
like I'm not gonna go sweet time. She look like she want to be talked to.
But anyways, what I was getting at is
Yeah.
I've dated that person time and time again, and it hasn't worked out for me. And when we reconnected, it wasn't like an intentional thing for me. Like I think some girls or some people, I won't even say girls, but some people have like when they get to a place where like, okay, this is not working for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to try something different. That wasn't a thought in my head like, oh, he different from what, you know what I'm saying? I didn't even think about that.
Most of that was like a physical type though.
Yeah, I mean,
Of course, like the street stuff, like, but most of that was just like a physical thing.
yeah.
Like, I don't think our relationship is more beneficial because I'm more round than like your type.
More around. Okay.
But I'm just saying, like,
No, so I think like core personality, obviously not the street stuff, but
Yeah.
core personality, it's really I usually date funny guys, like
Yeah.
you know, so it is the same thing. But I think one of the things is that back then looks really mattered to me.
it was high.
like not that you're ugly.
I must say, so
let's
do they not
be-
matter? Or like, are we Faith Evans and Biggie? Like,
no,
what's
let's be clear. I think you are very handsome.
okay? Thank you. Struck my ego a little bit. I just
you
took a lot
float
of
my
punches
boat
right
in
now.
that, in that,
All right,
in that
thank you.
category.
We're back. Ego restored.
No, I think you're handsome. So
Okay.
that's not it.
For sure.
But I'm just saying, like, those things would have mattered to me. Like, I don't think I would have dated a big boy back then. I wouldn't have. I know I wouldn't have.
I feel like me and you talked in one of my big boy phases before.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. When we were like 19, when we reconnected.
You were not big.
I was like 260. 250, 260, baby.
Nah. And it didn't last.
And not because of that.
You don't know.
I do know. I know.
No, but I mean, and again, that's relative
for sure.
But I know that like that would have been a thing for me. Like I would have been like, I mean, whatever. It just I was gonna say something, but it's just not even worth it.
All right, okay. Do you want to know my type per se? I don't know. Maybe.
Sure.
Do you want to?
Yeah, I'm fine with it. Listen, I know whatever it is.
I sucks because I feel like the type I like is you, and I'm like,
come on. Say
no,
it again.
I do like short girls. I do like short girls. I don't want to say that because I feel like that'll be taken out of context. It's hard.
He likes submissive girls.
Submissive?
You like girls that like if I tell you to do that, you just gonna do it.
No, not at all. I literally have never had that issue. And I can't say I followed a type per se, a personality type, but I've never had that issue. Like I'm confident, you know what I mean? I'm a good communicator and I know how to be kind without being like, yes, dear. Like,
no, okay. Tell us what you like.
Okay. I don't turn down the street there when I respond.
No, because it was. Go ahead. Tell us what you like.
I'll start physically. I like short girls. I like petite. I like. This is gonna sound weird, but like big foreheads, like Tyra Banks forehead. I don't. But it's a special like Rihanna, Tyra Banks. I don't know. It's like a pronounced. That's a weird quality. I don't even know why I landed there. Anyways, move forward. But it's a head shape that's attractive to me. Whatever.
Okay, keep going.
I don't know how to do this. All right.
I like the one with the big forehead. Like if I had to line them up. Like
Google Rihanna and look at her forehead. Like it's
like a little oblong shape.
It's a look.
Okay. You like the receding hairline type look on your girl.
No, not receding. It's where it's supposed to be at, but
it's a
little rounder shape. Anyways, leave me alone. Okay. I like legs, like thick thighs. Of course, like I'm a butt guy, so butts are great. I don't know how to do this. I think I'm going to end it here. I feel so awkward, and I don't even know why I turned down the street. So there it is.
So how do your preferences match up with your reality?
You?
Yes.
You're short, petite. Your forehead's big.
First of all,
you got a big forehead. I'm joking. They match. I never put a lot of emphasis on that though. So even though like there are things that are naturally attractive to me, it doesn't make or break anything because there's been plenty of girls I've talked to that don't look anything like that and don't meet any of that criteria. Never been with a tall girl. I don't know what that is about me. Like don't look me eye to eye.
So ignorant.
I'm joking.
This is
not
playing. Where I wanted this conversation to go.
I feel so silly. Let me bring it in.
Completely ignorant.
But I do feel like in terms of that, it matches up. Now, I will say the things that I do put emphasis on is more personality, temperament. I do go for more easygoing, a like kind, like there's always like a wind of kindness, you know what I'm saying? Like yeah, like everything's real chill. I can't explain it. Like submissive isn't the word because I don't think I've ever dated someone that was just like whatever you like, you know, like I'm coming to America. I've never had that, but there's definitely like a wind of like just girl next door vibes, I guess. Like, yeah. You know what I mean?
Based on how you've described past relationships to me, one of the things that like comes off is that you are like, what's the word I want to, this is going to sound this is gonna sound worse than I mean.
So don't say it. I'm tired of you saying things that sound worse.
No, but I don't have another way to describe it. But like you're the superior one mentally. Like they look to you for guidance, look to you for direction, look to you for like advice. Look to you for advice, and I almost like you like being in that role. And I see that come out sometimes in our dynamic, because not that you're not like on my level mentally, because I think you are. I think that's why we spar mentally very well. But like, well, you'll say something, and if I have an opposite opinion of that, it's just like, oh, you just don't listen. Like it's just like
you will land here. You just don't receive any type of feedback.
I'm not talking about just so don't make it personal. I'm not just talking about just me, like things about myself. I'm talking about just like in general, like just for instance,
in general, yes.
I'm just like, for instance, you asked me, you don't feel safe with the back door open? And I'm like, with the back door unlocked? And I was like, well, the back door is not unlocked all the time. Like it's,
I was
you
so
caught such an
irritated
attitude because like I felt like you were trying to help me.
No, I wasn't trying to help you. I was just bringing up something that seems like just like general, like not only just common sense, but like, hey, yo, like your house should be locked up when you go to sleep. Mm-hmm. And it says like, you're like, oh yeah, you're right. I didn't know it was unlocked. It was just like, I mean, it usually is, except for when this happens and when this happens. Like it wasn't just like like I don't know.
That's why I'm telling you that. I feel like your past girls don't have a lot of talk back.
It's not talk back. No one can tell you anything. There's one person in your life that I found who just has your ear completely.
Two. They're related.
More one than two.
They're related,
but other than that, and I mean, no, I don't think it has anything to do with it.
Go ahead.
Nah, I don't know how to talk around this in a way.
You don't have to talk around it.
I just can't nobody tell you nothing. It's difficult. Like the smallest things, like, hey, yo, you should look both ways across the street. I mean, I usually do. Just one time I did, and I got hit by a car. But I mean, what's the chance that that's gonna happen a lot? Okay, dang. Never look across the street. Have it your way, champ. Like,
yeah. Okay, so that was just a recent example of that. But I feel like that does happen a lot. Where it's like you're trying to give like advice or something. And
I would like to be seen as a resource of like, because you're a resource to me. And
I think you are a resource to me.
I don't feel it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't feel it. Most of the time when I say something to you, it's very rarely like, oh.
But see, I think what you have to learn is that when I talk back to you, it's not that I disagree with you. I'm just offering either additional information or an alternate way to look at it. But it's not that I don't agree with you. But I think that, and this is not a negative towards you, but I just think that in the past, if you were to say something to someone and it's like law and they don't question it.
That's not true.
And
that is not the case.
Yeah, okay. I mean, you're in the relationship, so I don't know.
Yeah,
that's why I'm
of
just
course.
saying,
Okay. Even make
but I'm just saying
like
the way
that
you present it to me sometimes makes it feel like, and I'm not talking about like what you telling them what to do, but like if you were to say a fact about something that is a perceived, like it's just no question of whether it is a fact or not.
That's not true.
Again, I wasn't there, but I'm just saying.
It's more like this is an area I'm like utilized in most of my relationships. Mm-hmm. And it's not like when I say something, it's just perceived to be true or valuable. Because there's been plenty of stuff I said, it's like, I don't agree with that. It's more so like even just encouraging things like, hey, look, you can do this. You got to believe in yourself. It's like, I don't know. Like, we're turning down shit that has nothing to do with our subject for the day. So we can't stay here. But at the end of the day, right, like, in any relationship, your preferences are never going to be met at 100% accuracy.
Yes.
Like the things that you prefer, your perfect scenario will rarely, and I want to say never, be met.
Not 100%. Like I think that if there's one thing or two things on the list of like, these things have to be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think that's okay.
Like non-negotiable things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, like if you're too stringent, if you're not willing to budge at all on your list, you'll always be disappointed. Like there are things that I've said this before that I didn't even know that I needed or wanted in a person until I got it. So it would have never been on my list. And if somebody came with that and I'm like, that's not on my list. He do what? You know what I'm saying? And disqualified them, like I wouldn't be here. So I think it's okay to have a list.
Yeah.
But when do you budge?
Well, I think everybody, right? Like we should have a responsibility to go through our list and evaluate why something is there. Mm-hmm. Why do you want that? Why do you feel like you need that? Why can't you budge on this? And why is it important to you? Right? So for instance, when I go through my list and I look at something that's important to me, if I can't pinpoint why it is, then I need to go to the root of like even us, like take for us, like we've chosen a route that's kind of put us in front of people. It's a platform. I mean, it ain't a big platform, but for the people that listen to us, like our relationship is on display. There was a comment the other day that was like, man, y'all have something that like, I can't remember what the direct was, but like there's some people share their whole lives for this. And if you're not careful, you could come listen to us on Tuesday, watch our YouTube and be like, oh, that's what I want. But you might not be great with a Russell, or a Brandi might not ever fit in your life, right? That might not be for you. And a lot of times, not just in relationships, but in life in general, we get this disease to compare lives and measure up what we have based on what other people have. And that's a dangerous game. Like I never want to be on a pedestal like that. And I pray this platform never becomes that, to where if we go through something, it's like, see, like Megan and Megan Good and Devon, like what they went through, everybody was like, I don't know what to do with this book. Like they could have been saying gold in that book, really good information, but because the relationship didn't work, it's like, I don't even want this.
Yeah, that happens to a lot of celebrity couples, or just maybe not even celebrity, but just public figures. Like I can't think of what the guys, Ken and Lear or Dier or something like that. They were like really popping on YouTube. They did vlogs and all this stuff. And then when they broke up, like her comments were in shambles. Like, and it's like, she's a real person. Like people start to idolize your relationship, and then your reality becomes their preference, right? And so they're like, well, he does this and this, and I see how it makes her feel and how she talks about it, so then I need that. And then what you're doing is you're completely disregarding the things that you actually need as a person, because you're not me. Like, you know what I'm saying? So having somebody that's like you, it works because it's the things that I need. But if I put you in a relationship with somebody else, that might not work because you're not what they need. So if 100%. I'm looking for a Russell everywhere that I go, I get me a Russell and I'm like, oh, this ain't what she said it was. You know what I'm saying? It's like, because it worked for me. Like, don't take my reality and make it your preference. You really have to come up with something for yourself that worked for you.
So look, that reminds me of what you said. So let's go back a bit, okay? Because we brought up earlier a time period in our relationship that we don't really talk about a lot, right?
The beginning?
Yeah, I think
the real beginning?
No, not that. Because I think most people know that we dated in middle school. We dated in high school.
Oh, that little.
Broke up.
That little period.
After high school. And then we came back together as adults. But they don't know about that, like, that summer. That summer of 05 or whatever it was. That, we attempted to rekindle and reconnect. This is where... And I'm going to take the time to describe my experience here, and I want you to counteract that because I don't know what your perspective was during that time.
Okay.
And I don't know if we've ever done this.
Well.
Here we are. So me and Brandi break up junior year of high school.
Yes.
I don't have any memories of her senior year. I'm sure we talked.
I was out here, wow.
I'm sure we talked, but I don't really remember that. But I can say for myself that I think we both just recognize that we will always like have this special place in each other's hearts. Like regardless of where I was at, like in my mind, I was like, that's like That's Brandi.
No, I wasn't messing with you after that little incident in junior year.
Pause. We'll get into it anyway. But nah, I got you. I got what you wrote on the back of my senior picture. Don't do that. I still was bae. Don't do that. But somewhere after my freshman year of college, I don't even know how, but we began to recommunicate. And we got back in touch with each other when she moved back.
On MySpace.
It was MySpace. Thank you. She moved back in town. She's now a new mother. Mm-hmm. And we began catching up, right? Trying to rekindle a situation. Our lives were extremely different than they were when we knew each other before, right?
Can I say that I think that the extremes of what we thought about each other when we were dating, like you're the good guy, the church boy, like we were living out the extreme
for sure.
of that image of each other. For
sure. I was a young preacher. I just began preaching. I was super, I had a lot of zeal for it. Like I was really on fire, right? Like you couldn't tell me nothing. And my convictions were strong. But I've always been crazy about this girl, right? So we start talking and we're rekindling things, you know what I mean? Like I'm feeling things that I shouldn't be feeling. We're on the precipice of doing things we shouldn't be doing. It was a lot of like conviction for me. And even though I had all of these feelings for her, in my mind, I couldn't make sense of what a life with us looked like together with where I was at and where she was at the time.
I think for me, so again, feeling like we were on the extreme of those things. So I was always a little rougher around the edges than you. You know, I smoked, I drank, I partied. You know what I'm saying? So when we reconnected, I was a new mom, but I was still like living that life. Like I was still in the club. I was still drinking. I was still smoking. I was still dealing with the thugs and the hustlers. Like,
thugs and the dreads.
You know what I'm saying? I was still in an entanglement with a gentleman.
I almost spit up my mic. I didn't know that. Wait, when
yes, you did. That's when he came.
Oh, that's right.
On the door.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
like,
right. That's like, yo, I can't mess with you. You got these dudes banging down the door. Brandi, open up the door. For real.
So, I think for me, none of that was in my mind. Like, this wouldn't work. I'm gonna say this.
Say it.
I think a lot of the reason why the door was open back up and I wanted to communicate with you is because I felt like we had unfinished business. And we dated 4 years. We hadn't had sex. We hadn't had really a physical relationship.
We grown now.
Beyond, beyond
facts.
Kissing. And we was grown. I had a baby. Like in my mind, I figured you had already had sex. So like I was trying to see what it do. And I was like, at the point where I was in my life, like I had this dude who I was trying to break from and I was trying to move on. But we had been, like I said, in an entanglement for a long time. And it was just something that just kept continuing. And it felt like the opportunity to see where we were as adults. I mean, we were all of 20 years old, so we weren't really adults.
I was an adult.
But and to cross over from that kiddie relationship to that adult relationship. Now this is the talk, because let me tell you, even though I ain't trying to step on your preacher man back then when you was a minister, but you wasn't like handling me like a minister. So you talking about that one night? Stop. We had conversations before then, so I was like, I'm
still a young man. Like, look, don't get it twisted.
We gonna get it poppin'. So
I don't recall this.
I do. Okay. I wish we go back finding MySpace transcripts.
Yo, you got me out here sounding that. Yo, get out of here. Here you go trying to spin it. Oh, Lord.
No, I'm not trying to spin it. But, I mean, let's be honest. Like,
you was tempting me.
It was, whatever it was.
I wasn't used to having the conversation.
Whatever it was
Church girls was boring.
It was a huge part of our dynamic, right? So I was like, yo, like, it might still be something there. But I think once we were in each other's presence, like, you were doing things that I just wasn't used to a guy doing. Like, you were so nice and so gentle and so, like, caring and loving and, like, doting on me. Like, you was carrying my baby in a baby carrier to my mama house. I'm like, that's not your baby. Why you carrying him? Like,
you making it seem like I was, like, the way you said those things was like they were negative things. You being nice.
At the time it was because it wasn't my preference.
So pause. At the time, those qualities were not desirable.
They weren't at all.
What a world we live in.
Like, it was, I remember, this is crazy how, like, talking about it is making these things come back to me. But when we pulled up, we were in a van and we pulled up to my mom's house.
My mama van.
And I had to drop my son off. And you were like, no, I got it. And you, like, unstrapping him and taking him out the carrier and carrying him up to the. Before that, I had dated 1.5 dudes.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And none of them had any interactions really with my son.
Yeah.
So for you to, this like your first time meeting him, I've already caught you as a weird term, but saw you praying for him. Now you're like really taking on this responsibility to like care for him just so you can go on a date with me. It was like, yeah, he's still soft.
Yo, this, hold on, pause. Can I say that this so far is my favorite episode ever? I don't know if it's as entertaining listening to it as it is being in it, but this is hilarious. I never knew.
So,
all right, go ahead.
It was like that
this is care from
we went on this date and then we went back to my house. And we tried to do something, but
taking my baby out the car.
Yeah. But guy was like, not with my son. And
shoot.
It didn't happen. And literally right after that, it just fell off.
It fell off.
It was like, nope. And for me, I ran back to what was comfortable and familiar. So the person that was trying to bust the door down, like, so look, showing that little edgy side and be like, nah, that's my girl. Who you in there with?
This is what I need.
That's
right
what
here.
I need. He's trying to carry my baby in
this
there.
This man borderline abusive. This is what I need right here. He care about me. He finna kick down my door. Can I say something?
Yes, absolutely.
We glazed over this, right? So I'm not gonna tell you all of our business, but there was a night particular. I think it was my birthday.
It was the same night. Yeah.
We got really close to being intimate. Really close, and that was the end of our that chapter of our lives, right? And I thank God though, because this never would have been. I couldn't have handled you back then. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I knew who I was. I don't think I knew how to handle you at that phase.
I would have ruined you. I would have completely destroyed you.
Nah, God would have rescued me. God would have like delivered me. He would have split the Red Sea and got me out of Egypt. But I'm thankful that wasn't the beginning of our relationship. But it's crazy though. Watch this. How it flipped, right?
Yes.
And when we came into our adulthood, when you meet me, I'm smoking, I'm drinking, I'm doing edibles. You know what I'm saying? You're super saved. I'm like, how, Sway? I'm like, how did this happen? I'm thinking we finna rekindle and get it popping again. Nah, You're different.
I think one thing, God, he always got a plan. He always working stuff out. But the journey back for you was, I hate to say easier, but easier than the conversion for me.
Oh, for sure.
You know,
I had some context.
Yeah, I was coming out of the wilderness, like for real. Like,
okay.
What's this guy thing all about? Let me check this out. The rest of this stuff is just ghetto. That's how I walked up in church. Like, I guess. You know what I'm saying? So it was good. It was different. And my preferences had changed, right? Now I had seen I'd seen functioning relationships, like relationships that were bearing fruit, that were healthy, that were loving. You know, I had these examples. My mom had now been married for some time. When we dated back then, my mom wasn't married. You know what I'm saying? So now I have examples in front of me of how things can go right instead of how they just go wrong. And my context had changed. Yeah. It was like, yo, I can be with somebody who like isn't a roughneck, like who isn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I see how you can still be a man and not exude these qualities. Cause to me, those qualities meant, oh yeah, he a man, you know what I'm saying? He not no punk. Law. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? What? He gonna go get his.
there's like, and I feel bad because I mean I'm never struggling in this area because I think, I don't know how to say it without sounding cocky or like a idiot, but I've always had an element of like cool. So even though I was like the good guy or however you want to phrase it, I never like struggled to meet girls and be in relationships and stuff like that. But I feel bad for those guys who like struggle in this area because they're seen as, are you the church boy or you this and you that, and you're getting passed up for the dude who you like. Man, I'm about to sound super soft, but I remember what it's like to like really have feelings for somebody and you see them with somebody and it's like, what do you see in them? Yeah. Like, I don't get it. And that dude you was talking about, to this day, I see him and it's still, I still give him a little side eye, like, yo, because I
if it matters, I look at him like that now too. Like, well, what was she thinking?
But you know, honestly, like, this is the perfect example of how sometimes a miseducation or a failed understanding of what we need as people can create preferences for things that we really don't need and things that aren't healthy for us. Like, and I ain't gonna lie to you, like, I liked girls that were like quote unquote good, but I still wanted a girl that had like a little edge to her. You know what I'm saying? I think that's why I was so crazy about you. I was like, she different. She got a little, you know what I'm saying? Like you know what I mean? I still want there to be an element of excitement and of fun. And, you know, when you're not in a healthy place yourself, you'll never have a healthy vision for what you need. If you don't see you right, you'll never see relationships right.
100%.
You know what I mean?
And I can honestly say that although I say, you know, my preference was this, and this, like in those relationships, I always was looking for them to be kind to me. Always looking for them to be loving to me, hoping that side would come out. You know what I'm saying? But it just never would because they just weren't the right type of people for me. You know what I'm saying? Not that they didn't have it in them, but it just wasn't coming out in the ways that I needed it. So I needed a man in my life, like a man's man. And to me, that looked like this thing. But the key elements of protecting and providing and nurturing and all those things, they didn't exist in these people. You know what I'm saying? So it took me going through a whole bunch of mess for me to see that, like, yo, it's not like, I definitely got into that. It just ain't no good men out here. Like, it's not that it's not no good men out here. It's just that you just really picking the wrong ones. Like, it's you, sis. Like,
you don't want you really don't want the good ones. You like, it's like, yeah, you boring.
No, but it was me. Like, it wasn't it was just what I was going after. It was the way my preferences were lined up. Like, I was never gonna find a good man because my preferences were all screwed up. Like, I was looking at very superficial things, and my idea of what a man was so backwards that, like, of course I wasn't gonna find it. I was finding little boys who didn't know how to be men either.
You deep, you spin. So how do you know? Like, how do you know when a preference is innocent? How do you know when a preference is like something that's okay and it's not something like the ones that you should hold your guns to?
Unfortunately, like, I don't have a recipe for how to do it, but I do know it's the experience. Like, if you keep going after your preferences and it still doesn't work, Change your preferences. Like, don't keep don't keep to the like. No, I would this list. See, I compromised on that. No, like it's not always everybody else. Sometimes it's you. Sometimes it's your list. Sometimes you have to reevaluate, like you said, why is this on the list? Why do I need this?
Yeah.
Because once you get to a place where, like, I look at my list that I had before you, like when I was just joining the church and I had this idea that I was going to craft the perfect man for me. Like, I look at that and you do check off a lot of boxes on that list. But when I look at I'm like, that's so dumb. Like, why do you have that on there? Like, because, or I was looking for things that I didn't even have in myself. Like, you got to have an 800 credit score. Check. Check your preferences, boo. It's you. You don't even have that. Like, how am I requiring
You
something?
got preferences for stuff that you don't even match.
How am I requiring something that I'm not even of myself? Like, definitely had 800 credit score in there.
Oh, man.
Like,
Sorry, babe.
knows how to apologize.
I know how to apologize.
I don't.
Okay, all right. All right, I'm with you.
Well, I
I'm with
didn't.
you.
I'm working on that.
Okay, I'm
But
with
you know what I'm saying? It's just an example of the things that I was looking for someone was really like a reflection of myself. Like all the things that I was lacking, I was writing on paper and I was trying to find in somebody else. And when that's always going to lead me the wrong way. Like, just because I don't have it, I don't need to look for somebody else to provide that for me. I need to have that in myself. Like, those are the things that I need to work on within me. And then when I find somebody, if they have it, great. If not, I still got it. And it's not a deficit that I'm trying to get you to fill.
Yeah. And moreover, like when you work on you, like when you become the best version of yourself, it makes the chances of your relationships being successful 1,000 times better, because you can get the person who's everything on your list. If you not right,
You're going to mess it up.
it's not gonna work. Like, it's not gonna work. You think that person, that amazing person with the 6-pack and 800 credit score, is gonna put up with your attitude? It's gonna put up with the fact that you don't, you know what I mean? Like, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? Like, we have to work on ourselves. We have to become the best versions of ourselves. And I feel like if we put the same amount of emphasis on trying to find the best person for us, if we put that much emphasis on being the best person for someone else, you have what you want.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
for
honestly,
real.
like if we put as much emphasis as we did on like finding this person as we did on being the person, come on, man, stop.
Because honestly, like, somebody looking for you too. Like,
Yeah.
somebody got a list. They're like, da-da-da-da. And when they find you, they're matching you up to that list. And if you're slacking, if there are areas in you that you know you are slacking in,
Yeah.
like when they matching you up to their list, you get kicked out the pool too. Like,
Yeah.
nope, she don't match. That's why I know that when we got together, it was easy for me to speak life into you because I had been doing that to myself. So the things that you needed to hear, I either had people who were pouring that into me or I was pouring that into myself so that my bucket was full in those areas. So when I saw like, hey, there's a deficit there, like I see, and I hate to say potential because I never recommend dating somebody for potential, but I see you. You know what I'm saying? I see you.
Put a pin in that.
And I will. And like, I'm going to speak to that person that I see because I know that you see it too.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, you may not be choosing to walk in it, but like, if I was broken and empty and you know what I'm saying, and I'm looking for you to give me something and you ain't got it either, like we both just sitting there looking stupid. And I know that it wouldn't have worked. It didn't work in the past when we were like that.
Yeah. I'm going to say this with a grain of salt because I'm still on the fence about it, but I've loosened up on, because I used to believe that too, like you shouldn't date potential. I've loosened up on that a lot.
I say don't date potential because you can never convince somebody that they have potential that they don't see.
Now, that's the factor. If they don't see it.
Right.
But, and I hate to even reference this person because hearing him speak makes my skin crawl. Everything he stands for literally just bothers me. But there's an underlying theme to what he says that I think makes sense. But I think it gets buried under just being unkind.
Just say it.
You got to do a whole show. Let me just walk us there, okay?
But you dogging this person.
Kevin Samuels.
Oh, uh-huh.
So he talks so unkind and cruel and just rude. So I think it's hard to digest a lot of what he says, but there's a theme of really measuring what it is that you say you want with who you are right now.
Yeah.
Now, he does it in a cruel way.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the stuff don't make sense. I don't agree with everywhere he lands. But the idea that you got all these like grand ideas of what you need and what you prefer, and let's break down who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see if you're even in the ballpark of what it is you're aspiring for. So there's a sentiment there. I do think that in this day and age, right? And let me just talk to my sisters. By that, I mean African-American women, right? Say you have a preference and you want to be with a black man, which is noble. I don't see nothing wrong with it. Okay, boom. You already outnumber black men in great number. Now, when you take on prison reform, the prison industry, now that number is even lessened because there's a crisis where there's a whole industry built on the imprisonment of black men. So now your number is completely sliced in half. Now you add into the fact that now black women are more educated and higher paid than black men in this country. So now if you have a preference for finances and you have a preference for education, you want somebody that's on your level, your number is cut in half even more, which just on numbers alone means that you, the great deal of women who have that preference, will not get that. It's impossible for you to get all of those things. But this is where I reference back what I said in my last episode, where there's good men out there who have good hearts, good intentions, and work hard, and you can build a life with them, but they might not check off a box. You know what I mean? And I feel silly saying don't date for potential because you might just not date. There's a lot of people going to say, I don't think there's anything wrong with just being single. But if you want to build a life with somebody, you have to be able to see potential in them. And I mean, I'm going to say this, and I'm walking on the ledge. I love you. There are things about you that I see in you that haven't come all the way to fruition yet. I am so happy with you. I'm madly in love with you. How dare I throw away this relationship because there's an area that doesn't, you know what I mean? Even you with me. My life, where it's at, in comparison to what my trajectory and my potential is far below that.
But I think the problem, the difference in what I mean when I say don't date for potential, the difference in that is I'm not dating you because I believe that you can be somewhere. I am happy with you where you are. Now, when we gonna grow, when we gonna go.
So you're telling me if nothing changed,
yes,
career, life, where I work at, all of that, if I say, hey, this is where I want to be at, you're happy and content with that?
For us, yes, but I know for you, no. But this is what I'm saying. It's not that you don't have potential. It's that I'm not dating you for your potential. So when I say don't date for potential, what I mean is the person that you're looking at right now, you're dissatisfied with. But because you see something in them, you choose to invest into dating them because of what you see in them. But they're completely happy with where they are and don't want it. And you're like, well, if I can get him and I can change him and I can mold him and I can get him to see where he can be. That's what I mean by dating for potential. It's not don't date people who don't have potential. It's just don't choose that person because you see them being somewhere else and you want to date them when they're that. There's
a lot of factors, but there are a lot of scenarios like that where there were somebody who you had in your life, who people in your life was like, man, nah, don't do that. That's a dud. That he ain't gonna be nothing. I heard Tabitha Brown talking about this. Tabitha Brown and her husband Chance. Everybody in her family said, do not be with him. He don't got this. He don't got that. Yeah. He's this. Who he was at the time was a far cry from who she saw in him. Right? So had she listened to that idea, and don't get me wrong, this isn't absolute, right? Like when I say this point I'm speaking on isn't in contrary to yours, because I don't think that you can date somebody solely on potential. I'm saying that I'm rethinking that statement because I don't think it's absolute. I think there are some scenarios where you can see potential in somebody, and if that potential is backed up behind a heart and a posture and a pursuit for higher, then I think it's safe, right? Like I think it's
I
safe.
just think
but
we're saying two different things.
I don't think we have the. I'm not arguing with you. I'm shedding more light on that statement because some people hear that and they say, I'm not gonna be with somebody just for potential because you got to be this and you got to be that.
No, that's not what that means.
Some people teach that. There was a Pastor R.A. Vernon, who used to do teachings on not dating for potential, and he was saying, yo, if you got a list, God's able to do the list. You know what I'm saying? He recently backed off that. He has a podcast and he talked about that. But I don't mean specifically about what you meant, but there are people who encourage you not to settle. And there's some areas that you're gonna have to be malleable, and you got to have some bend to you.
So the words like preferences and settle, obviously they have different meanings, but to me, like if I have a list and I choose to be relaxed on some of those things, that does not mean I'm settling. That just means that I'm flexible. Just because you don't meet the financial picture that I had for the man that I thought I was going to be doesn't mean that I settled with you. Like just because you choose to change because things become less important as you get to know a person, that's not settling to me. And when I say date somebody for potential, it's more of those people who are like picking men out, not men, I'm not going to single out just men, but picking people out of the gutter based on the fact that you believe that you can mold them into something greater. Like he got potential to be this, but he don't want to be that, sis. So don't date him because if he don't want that for himself, all the potential in the world that you see for this person is not going to matter. So for me, yes, I am completely happy and content with you where you are. If you are, I know that you have potential in you, but it doesn't make me love you any more or any less if you choose not to go after it. That's the difference. Like if I was like, yo, he got mad skills. He a rapper. He a preacher. Like he can talk real good. That's who I want. You not none of that now, or famous in that, I should say, right now.
Say I'm all that.
But because I was looking at you and thinking of when you get there, then you gonna be all this. But then when we got together, you're like, you know what, baby, that stuff don't even matter to me no more. Now I'm disappointed because I'm dating you based on who I saw you being. That's not what I'm saying.
I didn't think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I when I say don't date somebody based off of their potential, that's what I mean. And I think that's where it gets misconstrued, is that because they have potential doesn't mean don't date them for the potential that you see in them. It's just don't set all your money on what they're not right now. Don't invest in dating them because you think they're going to be something else.
The idea is being content with where they are now and seeing potential for where they can go. But you got to be content with where they are now.
100%.
Right?
150%.
If you're not are content with who the person they are right now in your life, then you might be in a situation where you're in a relationship with somebody for an extended period of time and there's still that person that you were dissatisfied with from jump.
Yeah, from the very beginning.
Yeah, now I'm with you on that. So I think this is good. I think some key takeaways for me, and I'm going to pass to you after this, so you tell me what are your takeaways. Key takeaways for me is it's good to have an idea of what you like. I don't think there's anything wrong with liking certain qualities, liking certain features, a certain build or whatever. But you have to really take into account why you like what you like, why you want that. And if it's very important to you, why is that?
Yeah.
Right. And also knowing the origins of where that stuff comes from, right? Like if you're getting your stuff from comparisons to other relationships and what other people got going on or who this person's with, 9 times out of 10, you trying to step into shoes that were never made for you. Yeah. You're trying to step into a suit that was never tailored for you. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. What somebody else got going on might not work for you. So you got to really measure well when it comes to coming up with your measuring stick for what you want in a life partner, in a spouse, in a husband or a wife.
Yeah, I think my thing is just be open. Like, be open to new experiences, to new people, to new ideas, to new thoughts, all of that. Because when you are, you get to see, sometimes we put ourselves in a box, right? We're like, we only can be happy if we have these things around us.
Yeah.
And it's so not true. Like there's a myriad of ways to be happy. Like, and there are people and places and things that you don't even know that you need in your life. And if you're not open to them, you'll never be able to receive that. So yeah, my advice is just, or my takeaway or whatever you want to call it, is just be open, have your preferences. But if something comes your way that doesn't look or talk or sound like what you thought it was, be open to experiencing something new. Worked out for me.
Yeah, build me back up. So now that I know,
I'm not about to stroke your ego on this podcast.
You done kicked it down.
You asked it. I didn't kick anything down. You asked me to tell you what 30-year-old Brandi wanted. 30 when you met me when I was 35-year-old Brandi in them 5 years. Listen, when you get closer to 40, the clarity just comes so clear. And I didn't even come into this with preferences. I was like, look, God, whatever you have for me, like that's what I want.
You have a list.
I did have a list, but I had let go of the list. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't now matching people up to the list. I was literally content with staying single until God said, look, this your husband. I even had a t-shirt. Unless God sent you, I'm unavailable. You remember that?
I ain't seen that shirt in a while. It ain't necessary no more.
All right. You know what I'm saying?
You was going to Walmart like.
I was trying to put myself out in the atmosphere.
Okay.
Like, listen, I didn't want to. And when you came, that's the first thing that I did, right? I took it to God. Like, I'm going to pray about it, and if he ain't supposed to be here, make him go away. Poof, be gone. Like, I need him to leave.
God, he's still here. I'm starting to feel things.
You sure? But for real. So and then when I knew, okay, this is somebody that I'm supposed to be spending time with, then I had the mind to go back to the list. And the really important stuff, you exceeded all of that. And then I was adding stuff like, and he, you know what I'm saying? So my list changed and it evolved. And instead of a list picking who I was going to be with, I let God do that.
Ego restored. I'm good. Thank you, love. Listen, I'm speaking love on all of y'all who want it. For those of you guys who are out here, like, you know what, like, I'm ready. I'm at that point in my life where, like, I just want to do life with somebody. I'm praying for y'all, and I'm speaking that for you this year. And for those of you guys who are already in relationships, I'm speaking that they thrive and that you're in a season of, like, happiness and it's lit. Y'all having fun. For the married folks, y'all being nasty like y'all ain't never been nasty before. And it's just bomb, right? Like, I'm really speaking out all of y'all, man, and I believe it. Like, I'm a believer now. And I'm happy that I'm finna step into that season, my daggone self. So how far are we our way? What's the official countdown has begun, if you didn't know.
It's like 20-something days.
20-some days to her last name change. You know what I'm saying? Y'all see us on here with some jewelry and whatnot. So now I'm excited. It's going to be lit. We keep talking about the honeymoon and all that and all our plans. So it's going to be fun.
All right, Joel.
I just did all that and you just like, okay.
Listen.
Nah, but
they
yeah.
can see by the smile on my face all my feelings. I don't need to say nothing.
That it out. As always, we'll be back tomorrow for the live. What else we got going on? We're announcing the winner?
Yes.
We'd have already done that, right?
Yeah, that's tomorrow. That's like
okay, so yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You be confusing
so
me.
We're giving away some merch. By the time you listen to this, we've already
away.
given it away. But we'll be doing more of that stuff. If you'd like to be entered in an opportunity to win some What They Never Told Us merch, I'm just gonna say this. We're just gonna keep it rolling. The way you enter is by writing a review on Apple Podcasts.
I'm interjecting some new rules.
Oh,
I didn't even
really?
clear this with him, so this is just off the. We want you guys to write a review on Apple Podcasts. However, try your darndest to become a top fan on Facebook, because that is also a great way. Some people can't write reviews on Apple Podcasts, so sharing,
Everyone can.
Sharing our stuff, commenting on our stuff, all of that is also ways that you can show support and that you can enter. So we are giving away things for the reviews, but we also want to acknowledge our top fans. So
support that. And I don't know how you become a top fan. I think it's just by engagement, and I think that's built up over time. So that might be a process. The quickest way to do that, Google, if you don't know how to do it, go to Google and type in how to write a review on Apple Podcasts. Even if you don't have an iPhone, you can do it from your web browser, and you can go to the search bar, type in What They Never Told Us. There's only 2 podcasts in the world with that name. It'll bring us both up. We're on the cover. Write a review. Let us know what you think about the podcast. It'll put you in the
drawing.
In the drawing. There we go. There's the word. Put you in the drawing to win some What They Never Told Us merch. And yeah, we appreciate you guys. Y'all keep us going. The numbers are great. We're doing great right now, and God is good.
God is good. Season of the double up.
Season of the double up. As always, we love.
Y'all should love too.
Peace.